Hello folks, we're looking at the PolyD today. Thanks for everyone that's watched the pencil tin microphone video. That's done quite well. Here it is. I still want to do some more playing with this. Currently it's got marbles inside it because, you know, that might be interesting. So we'll do another experimental session with that. Busy writing, doing lots of writing, having lots of fun in that corner, the Volca corner, lots of fun. More about that in a future video. But today, the question is PolyD as a MIDI controller. What can it do? What can't it do? If you want to watch the first 3 minutes, it does send MIDI over USB and also, you know, DIN cables. Awesome. It obviously transmits and receives MIDI on 2 different channels. Or the same channel, you can decide. Set that up using Synth Tribe. Can't do that with the hardware, sadly. See a previous video where I go into that. So it's polyphonic in terms of a controller, so it's not limited just to the 4 voices in terms of sending out keys. Awesome. The pitch bend and the mod wheel transmit messages, so you can map those to your software parameters and control them there. That's cool. These buttons, as far as I can determine, don't send any kind of messages. They only control the hardware, which seems a bit of a shame. If I'm wrong, do let me know. But as far as I can determine, these controls only control the hardware, like I say, which it seems like a bit of a shame. But there we go. Let's get into it. So if you've never met the PolyD before, it is a 4-voice analog synth modeled after a Moog. Pretty simple. So you can select each of your 4 voices, you know, on or off volume of those voices. There's a filter section and there's an envelope. There's a chorus, there's a distortion, and then the sort of the newer bit is this sort of sequencer section. Haven't really dived into that, so quite a simple beast, and again hits the sweet spot of that kind of vintage analog sort of sound. Let's just set up the basics. So obviously we've got the PolyD here, so we can hear that. Very nice. USB is going into my laptop now. So I wanted to pick a plugin that I've only got on my Windows laptop, not on my Mac. So we're looking at PG-8X, which is an emulation of the Roland JX8P, but with the look of the PG-800 like hardware controller. Good luck finding one of those in the real world. So that's what we're listening to. And the same, we're just going straight USB, straight into the PC. When I turned Reaper on, Reaper's going to be our host for this demo. Reaper couldn't find the PolyD when I had Synth Tribe open, but I closed Synth Tribe and then immediately Reaper could find the PolyD. So if that happens to you, you know, do that. Also, you might, you know, plug your USB cable into your PC and then open your DAW. Otherwise, it might not see your hardware. So we can listen to just the PG-8X, which, as no surprise, sounds really Rolandy. And a little bit of reverb from the Leopard filtered reverb, written by me, which is just a reverb with a low pass filter. So what that allows us to do is obviously have a big Moog plus Roland-esque sound. which with some judicious use of reverb could sound very nice. We're hearing the PolyD without reverb, but I might put some reverb in post just to make it sound nice. Maybe not. So first test, obviously this works as a MIDI controller. So I'm just going to put the volume on the PolyD all the way down. So we're now only hearing the PG-8X. It works. Good. Very most basic test, and obviously we might want to use the Synth Tribe app for setting up the channel that it's going to receive MIDI and transmit MIDI, which is different. Although as an analog synth, the PolyD has got its 4 voices, from what I can hear it's acting as a fully polyphonic MIDI controller. So just playing some Jacob Collier chords. So that's good. So the sort of, well, I'm not saying polyphony of the hardware, but the the 4 voices of the hardware isn't limited as in terms of a MIDI controller. So that's good. Pitch bend works. So that's good, and we could use a Synth Tribe to set the range of the pitch bend if you just wanted to be like a semitone or a tone. You go, which I think that is that's set as a tone, isn't it? But we could probably map that as an entire octave and go, for all that good clangor fun. Now the mod wheel does transmit, but weirdly. In the PG-8X, it's controlling the release of the envelope, of the amp envelope. So this is all the way down, as you'd expect for a release envelope. And I mean, you might not be seeing it on the screen, but as I put the mod wheel up, the release on the envelope's gone up. And the software just holds on that F. Some pretty interesting pitch fluctuations there. I don't know whether that's just how the Roland has been designed to respond, or how the patch is set up. That's definitely drifting, isn't it? I don't know whether that's programmed. Yeah, because you can hear it correct as soon as I. So whether the CC is picking up something else, I'm not sure. So probably, so that means that the mod wheel is definitely transmitting control messages, and we could probably map that to another controller. Let's try that. So here I've mapped the mod wheel to the LFO of the digital oscillator number 2. So that's cool. And if you want to do that, let's go. Well, this is how I set it up. So waggle the controller that you want to control. Yeah, LFO for DCO2. Parameters. Learn. Wiggle, wiggle, wiggle. You should see some. It's understood that. Okay, happy days. So the mod wheel looks sort of usable in terms of having that as a controller. Now, the next question is, do any of these buttons send CC messages? My assumption is no. There's no information in the manual about this. So my initial tests are only the pitch and the mod wheel are sending control messages via MIDI or via USB in this case. You know, what would be nice, right, would be if I can control the filter frequency of my soft synth with the filter frequency on the hardware. Same with the resonance, same with the envelopes, right? But I can't. I've just recorded some MIDI. I'll do a screenshot because you might not see so clearly, but I can clearly see obviously the velocity information of notes. I can see the pitch bend information. I can see the mod wheel information, but I was twisting everything and nothing's picked up. So as a MIDI controller, limited, you know, keyboard yes, pitch mod yes, everything else no, which seems a shame, but I think, you know, they were going for very much like that old school analog synth kind of vibe. You know, people may just want to play this and have it for the sound, like that Moog sound, rather than having it as kind of, this is a super duper, it does everything kind of machine. Also recall these are coming in around $550, $600, euros, pounds. Having said that, Korg generally do implement CC on their hardware. You know, even the little old Monologue is a fully featured MIDI controller. All of the knobs transmit messages. You know, and even like the Z1 that came out in 1997, this will send CC over MIDI. So I can put my envelope and my filter controls on my Z1. You still can't see it. You know, the hardware controls of my Z1 will transmit MIDI. So as a MIDI controller, you know, the Z1 just rules. Reason number 73 for getting a Z1. So now I might be wrong, and you guys might know some top tips. You said, "Oh, Mark, you're doing it wrong. You've got to activate this, switch this. You've got to, you know, it's all about system exclusive, or you know, I don't know." Do let me know. But I did just want to make this video, just, you know, just thinking about the PolyD as a MIDI controller. You know, if you want to take it onto a live setup, could you do, you know, live tweaking of, say, your Ableton parameters? Possibly not. I mean, sure, you've got your mod wheel and your pitch, so you could do some things with that. But as a sort of, as a MIDI controller, limited, I guess. Now, Behringer will sell you various flavors of MIDI controllers, which also makes it maybe a bit unusual that they wouldn't just put some of that chips, you know, into this big, nice enclosure. Is it a missed opportunity? I don't know. Anyway, let's call it a day here. That's the PolyD as a MIDI controller. Like I say, if I got something wrong, do let me know. Okay, cheers, folks. Take care. Bye.